Jai. Nitilapa Vishtam Vishnupa Rashatarashatashmar Bhaktivedānta Vaman Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nitilapa Vishtam Vishnupa Rashatarashatashmar Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Nitilapa Vishtam Vishnupa Rashatarashatashmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nitilapa Vishtam Vishnupa Rashatarashatashmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupada ki jai. Nitila Pravishta Bhagavat Śrīla Gokṣaras Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Nitila Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura ki jai. Nitila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Śrī Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Śrī Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Śrī Jeev Gopal Patadash Raghunath Shāra Gosvāmī Prabhu ki jai. Śrī Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Śrī Gaur Parshada Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Śrīla Haridas Ṭhākura ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदत्त गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्यामा कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादी की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर श्री नवदीप धाम महात्मा की जय। श्री सच्चिद आनंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय. Oh, and today is the disappearance day of Śrīla Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashatarashatashmar Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Tadya Shubha Tirobhav Titi ki jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Alright, so let me share my screen. Give me a second. And let's see all who's there. Dandavat Pranams Madhavi Didi and Rupdi. Thanks for reminding me about Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Puri Gosvāmī Mahārāja's disappearance day. I would have forgotten. All right, so let's go to... Today's going to be one of the longer reading days. Let's see, this is the schedule I made. So today, in the small book, we're reading 47 pages. That's the most out of any of these. Anyways, so hope you don't mind going a little overtime. But I did prepare it mostly, so I won't have to be making changes so much. Chapter 7. So yesterday we completed Samantha-dvīpa, and now we're moving to Godrum, I think, right? Pretty sure. Mangalacharana, auspicious invocation. Jaya Shri Chaitanya Chandra, Jaya Prabhu Nityananda. Chaitanya Chandra is better. Jaya Advaita Jaya Gadadhara, Jaya Shiva Sadi Bhakta Gora Pade Anurakta, Jaya Navadvīpa-dhāma-māhātmya. All glories to Shri Chaitanya Chandra. All glories to Shri Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Shri Advaita Acharya. All glories to Shri Gadadhar Pandit. All glories to all the devotees beginning with Shivas who have deep attachment for the divine feet of Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. All glories to the topmost Dham, Śrī Navadvīpa, Śrī Suvarna Vihar. Chariya Vishramastan Śrī Jiveya Jan. Wait. Jatagrama Suvarna Vihar. O he Jiva Prabhu koi, apurva e sthana hoy. Navadvīpa prakritira paro. Śrī Nityananda Prabhu took Śrī Jiva from Vishramstan, Śrī Darangan, to Suvarna Vihar. Arriving there, Śrī Nityananda Prabhu said, "O Jiva, this unprecedented place is beyond material nature. It is transcendental." Until the moment of death, a materialistic person's only goal is to gather objects for sense gratification. Even if someone becomes like King Suvarna Sen, who had everything, he will still desire to collect more objects for sense gratification. Satya Yuga Estane Chilo Raja Sabijane Shri Suvarna Sena Taranam Bahukala Raja Koilo Parete Vardhakya Koilo Tabu Nahi Karyate Vishram Tabu Nahi Karyate Vishram. During Satya Yuga, a famous king named Shri Suvarna Sen resided here. He ruled this place for a long time. Even in his old age, he remained busily engaged in his kingly duties without retiring from them. Okay. I'm just curious. Can you guys give me a second here? Before, when Nityananda Prabhu was talking in the chapters, was there always double quotation marks before each thing? It might have been. I'll just make a note. That's just for myself. Okay. So during Satya Yuga, a famous king named Shri Suvarna Sen resided here. He ruled this place for a long time. Even in his old age, he remained busily engaged in his kingly duties without retiring from them. By residing in the Dham, one will easily get an opportunity to take sadhu sangha. Vishaya avishta chitta se vriddhi hoy hit vitta e chinta kore naravara ki jani ki bhagya vashe Śrī Narada tata aise rajatare pujilo vistar. Shouldn't that be Raja? The king was always engrossed in sense enjoyment and always worried about how his kingdom could prosper. One day, who knows by what good fortune, Devarshi Śrī Narad came to visit him. Upon seeing Śrī Narad, the king offered prayers and worshipped him. Should be Devarshi. Śrī Narad, who feels unhappy to see the sorrows of others, instructs the kings in the absolute truth. Narade daya hoilo tatta upadesha koilo rajare toloya nirjane Narada kohena rai vritta tavadina jai artha chinta kori mane artha ke anartha jano paramartha divya jnana Hridaye bhava ho ekabar Dara putra bandhu jan Keho nahe nija jan Maranete keho nahe karo. I have been doing keho, I think. Yes, I have been doing that. Seeing the king's condition, Śrī Narad's heart filled with compassion for him. He took the king to a secluded place and instructed him about the real truth, tattva. He said, "O king, you are spending your days uselessly pondering how to gather wealth. You should understand that wealth does not bring fortune, but rather misfortune. Just once, contemplate in your heart the divine knowledge of actual fortune, the fifth goal of human life, Krishna Prem. Wife, sons, friends, relatives, and others are not ours. After death, none of them belong to us. Although life is priceless, it is, oh God, how do you say this word again? Ephemeral. Ephemeral. Anyways. Tomara marana hole, dehati bhasaye jale, sabe jabe grihe apanara, tabe keno mitya asha vishaya jala pipasa, jadi keho nahi hoilo kar. After your death, your body will be cremated on the bank of a river, and the ashes will be thrown in its waters. Everyone will then go back to their respective homes. Since no one belongs to you, why are you maintaining false hope that they do? Why are you trying to quench your thirst by remaining attached to sense enjoyment, which, being only a tiny drop, is unable to quench your thirst? It is foolish to hope for happiness by accruing worldly assets only. Don't think there's any need for only. Gonna remove that. Don't worry, these changes I'll check again and somebody else will also check again. Jadi bolo labhi sukha jivane na paye dukha ataiva artha cheshta kori seho mitya khatarai jivana anita hoy nahi rahe shata varsho pari. If you say that attempting to accumulate wealth will enable you to attain happiness and relieve your life of suffering, then I have to say, O king, that this is completely false, because life itself is temporary. It will not last for more than 100 years. The actual purpose of human life. Ataiva jano sar, jete habe maya par. Jata sukhe dukkha nahi hoy, kise va sadhibo bolo, se to apurva phal, jahe nahi shokha dukkha bhoy. Let me just fix all of these. One. You should therefore understand the essence of life, the real purpose of life. Just see, we have only attained the human form of life to cross over the ocean of material existence, or in other words, to perform bhajan. Do you know how to attain that place where there is no lamentation, sorrow, or fear? Make an effort to understand how. It is impossible to obtain the abode of the Supreme Lord through renunciation and knowledge. Kevala vairagya kori tahana paite pari, kevala jnanete tahanai. Vairagya jnanera bole, vishayandana gole, jivera kaivalya hoy bhai. One second, I need to charge my mouse. Okay. O king, that abode can be attained neither by renunciation alone, nor solely by knowledge. When on the strength of renunciation and knowledge, the material bondage has been severed, the living entities may at most attain kaivalya, sayujya mukti, or merging with the impersonal aspect of the Lord. Kaivalya mukti is the cause of total destruction. Kaivalya anandanai sarvanasha bolitai, Kaivalyera nitanta dikar, edike vishaya gelo, shishta kichu na mililo, Kaivalyera koro ho vichar, ataeva jnani jan, bhukti mukti nahi lon. Krishna bhakti kore na sadhana, Vishayate anasakti Krishna pade anurakti Sambandha abhideya Sambandha abhideya prayojan. There is no happiness whatsoever in Kaivalya Mukti. For the living entities, it means total ruination and is completely contemptible. In Kaivalya Mukti, all sensory pleasures are eliminated, but nothing superior is attained. Therefore, that intelligent person who deeply considers the nature of Kaivalya will give up the desire for both bhukti and mukti, the elimination of suffering, and engage solely in devotion to Sri Krishna. Thoroughly understanding the principles of sambandha, one's relationship with Krishna, abhideya, acting in accordance with that relationship, and prayojan, the ultimate goal of life, he will be detached from sense enjoyment and attached to Sri Krishna's lotus feet. Vishayate anasakti, Krishna pade anurakti. Bhakti is the only means to attain the abode of Bhagavan. Jiva se Krishnera das, bhakti bina sarvanash, bhakti vrikshe phale prema phal. Se phala prayojan, Krishna prema nityadhan, bhukti mukti tuchya se shakal. One second. Sorry guys, give me. The living entity, wait, I just read that, right? Okay. The living entity is Shri Krishna's servant, Sambandha, and without bhakti, abhideya, the jiva will be completely destroyed. On the tree of devotion grows the fruit of love of God, prem, and the ultimate goal of life, prayojan, is to attain the eternal wealth of Krishna prem. Sense enjoyment and liberation are just insignificant fruits of this tree. Although the jiva is Krishna's servant, he is still affected by illusion. Krishna chirananda ravi, maya tara chaya chavi, jiva tara kirananu gana, tatastha dharmera bhje, jiva jadi maya sparshe, maya tare karoye bandhan. Shri Krishna is likened to the sun of Chid Ananda, or knowledge and bliss. Maya is his shadow, and the living entity is an infinitesimal particle in the rays of that sun. Because the jiva is generated from the marginal potency, the tatastha shakti, illusion, Maya, binds him in her net if he turns towards her. Because the jiva is generated from the tatastha shakti, illusion, Maya, binds him in her net if he turns towards her. The destination of the living entity who's been caught by the net of illusion. Krishna bahir mukha jay, Maya sparshi jiva she, Maya karma sanga pai, Maya jale bhrami more, karma gyane nahi tare, kashta nasha mantra na karai. That living entity who turns away from Sri Krishna goes towards Maya. As a result, he is caught up in the perplexities of fruitive activities. He wanders about in a trap of material existence, attaining only troubles. He cannot obtain deliverance by the process of karma and gyan. Kabu karma acharai ashtangadi yoga maya kabrahma gyana alochana kabu tarka kore avasheshe nahi tare nahi mane atma tattva dhan. Sometimes he practices karma, and sometimes ashtanga yoga and other yoga methods. Sometimes he follows brahma gyan in personage. Sometimes he takes share of the path of logic, but in the end he is not delivered. Without knowledge about the true nature of the soul, atma tattva, it is impossible to be delivered. Still, the jiva is not willing to accept the process of bhakti, atma gyan. After wandering through innumerable species of life, one will attain pure devotion only by the association of devotees. Brahmite brahmite jabe bhakta jana sangha habe tabe shraddha labhibe nirmala sadhu sange krishna bhaji hridaya anarhatyaji nishta labha kore suvima. Because of his previous activities, the living entity wanders from one body to another. When, by some good fortune, he comes into the association of sadhus, he attains pure faith, shraddha. By performing bhajan of Shri Krishna in that association, all unwanted tendencies, anarthas, are removed from his heart. He thereby attains pure nishta, or steadiness in his devotional practices. Bhajite bhajite tabe she nishta ruchi habe krame ruchi hoibe asakti asakti hoibe bhav tahe habe prema labha e krame hoy shuddha bhakti. By continuously performing bhajan, his nishta gradually transforms into ruchi, intense relish for serving Krishna, and then into asakti, deep attachment for both the practice and the goal of spiritual life, Shri Krishna. Thereafter, bhav, transcendental emotion, manifests, and after that, prem, pure transcendental love, manifests from bhav. Shuddha bhakti, or pure devotion, makes its appearance in this sequence. Practicing the 9 limbs of bhakti under the guidance of devotees is the method to attain the ultimate goal. Shravana kirtana mati seva krishnarchana nati dasya sakya atmanivedana navadha sadhana e bhakta sange kore je Śrīla Krishna premadhana. Hearing and chanting about the Supreme Lord's qualities, glories, and so forth, remembering, serving, and worshipping Him, offering Him obeisances, becoming His servant, becoming His friends, and offering one's own self to Him are called Navada Bhakti. Anyways, doesn't matter. A person who follows this 9-fold process of devotion under the guidance of devotees will achieve the wealth of love of Krishna, the duty of a resident of the Dham. Tumi Raja Bhagyavan Navadipe Tavastan Tamavase Tava Bhagyodaya Sadhu Sange Shradapeye Krishna Nama Guna Ge Prema Surje Korao Uday. You are a greatly blessed king because your residence is in Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma. Your good fortune has arisen because of your staying in the Dham. Now please give up material enjoyment and reside in the association of saintly devotees to attain pure faith. Engage in continuous chanting of Shri Krishna's name and qualities, and thus invite the sun of Prem to arise in your heart. Shri Narad Muni provides indication of Shri Gauranga's descent. Dhanyakali agamane heta Krishna loye gane Shri Gauranga lila prakashive Jai Gaura nama lobe tate Krishna kripa habe braje vasa sheto koribe. In the upcoming blessed Kali Yuga, Shri Krishna will appear as Shri Gauranga and along with his associates manifest his pastimes of Vraj here. Whoever will chant the name of Shri Gaur Hari will obtain the mercy of Shri Krishna and residence in Vraj. The easy method of attaining Shri Krishna. Gaura Nama Naloya Jai Krishna Bhaje Giya Shri Krishna Bahu Kale Pai Gaura Nama Loy Jai Sadhya Krishnaya She Aparada Nahi Rahe Tai. A person who worships Sri Krishna without taking shelter of Sri Gaur Hari and without chanting his name will attain Sri Krishna after a long time. But if someone chants the name of Sri Gaur Hari, he will quickly attain Sri Krishna, and all his offenses will be vanquished. The prowess of Sri Gaur's name. Bolite bolite muni adharya hoy amani nachite lagilo gora boli gora hari bolo dhari bina bole gora hari kabe se ashibe dhanya kali. Saying this, Narad lost his composure and he began to chant Shri Gaura Hari and dance while playing his veena. His veena also sang along with him. O Gaur Hari, when will that fortunate age of Kali come? That's his speaking. The appearance of prem. The appearance of prem is only possible by a devotee's mercy. Eis saba bolitai narada chali jai prema doya hoilo rajara Gauranga bolia nache sadhu hoite prema jache vishaya vasana ghuche tara. After instructing the king about Krishna bhakti in this way, Shri Narad Muni left that place. By the mercy of Narad, prem arose in the heart of the king. He began to chant Gauranga, Gauranga and dance, and he begged for prem from the sadhus. As a result, all of his desires for sense enjoyment were removed. The king received darshan of Shri Gaur Gadadhar. Nidra kale naravara dekhe Gaura Gadadhara sa parshade tahara angane nache Hare Krishna boli kore sabe kolakuli suvarna pratima gorasane. Once, while sleeping, the king received darshan of Gaur Gadadhar along with their associates. Shri Gaur Hari, whose complexion is like molten gold, was dancing in his own courtyard with all of his devotees. They were chanting Hare Krishna and embracing one another. The king's condition upon awakening. Nidra bhange narapati katara hoilo ati Gora lagi koroi krandana Daiva vani hoilo tai Prashamai rai Habe tumi parshade garnan. As soon as the king awoke, he felt greatly distressed and began to weep, desiring to attain Shri Gaur Hari. At that moment, an aerial voice said, O king, you will take birth at the time of my manifest pastimes and be counted among my associates. King Shri Suvarna Sen's identity in Śrīmad Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Buddhimanta Khanat Nam. No, that's not an N with a dot over it. It should be Khan. I'll double check this later on. Buddhimanta Khananam Pai Behe Gunadam Sevi Begoranga Shicharana Daivavani Kane Shuni Stira Hoila Naramani Kore Tabe Gauranga Bhajan. O king endowed with all good qualities, at that time your name will be Buddhimanta Khan, and you will serve Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. Hearing the aerial voice, the king regained his patience, and from that moment on began to worship Sri Gauranga. Shivas Pandit absorbed in the mood of Narad. Nityananda Kata Sheshe Naradera Shakta Veshe Shivasa Hoilo Yachetana Mahaprema Veshe Tabe Gora Nama Amrita Sabe Abhume Lote Shi Jivata Kon. When Sri Nityananda Prabhu finished his story, Shivas Pandit, absorbed in the mood of Narad, fainted. Seeing Shivasa's condition, Shri Jiva became intoxicated with Mahaprem. He drank the nectar of Gaur and rolled around in the dust of that place. Then he spoke. Shri Gaur Hari, the fulfiller of the devotees' desires. Aha ki Gauranga Rai, dekhibo ami hetai, Suvarna putali Gaura mani. Bolite bolite tabe Shri Gaura kirtana sabe, Nayanete dekai amani. Alas, will I also be able to behold that golden complexioned jewel of Shri Gaura at this place? As soon as Shri Jiva said this, they, Shri Nityananda, Shrivas, and Shri Jiva, could see Srimad Mahaprabhu performing Sankirtan. Ahase amiya jine Gaurangera rupa khani, Nachite lagilo she khane. Tobe Nityananda Rai, Gaurangera guna gai, Advaita sahita sarva jane. That unprecedented form of Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, which even puts nectar to shame, was dancing. And Shri Nityananda Prabhu and Shri Advaita Acharya, along with the devotees, were singing the glories of Shri Gauranga. Mridanga mandira bhaje, sankirtana suviraje, purva lila hoilo vistara, vistara. Koto je ananda hoy, varnite shakati noy, bela hoilo dvitiya prahar. Accompanied by resounding mridangas and kartals, everyone was enraptured in Sankirtan. The pastimes that took place when Srimad Mahaprabhu resided in Navadvip again became manifest. I have the power to describe the bliss in the hearts of everyone at that time. Meanwhile, afternoon came. Is that too literal? Afternoon came? Whatever. Now we're gonna begin Śrī Nrsimha-pali. One second. I think it's a good chance to see all that's everyone who's here. Oh, Dandavat Pranams, Nri Hari Prabhu. And Gargaraji, Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, Dandavat Pranams everybody. And Vipul, Hare Krishna. Okay. Tabe to chalilo sabe, Gora Gita kala rave. Should I do, yeah. Devapali gramera bhitara, Tataya vishrama koilo, Devera atiti hoilo, Madhyana bhojana atapara. They all arrived in the village of Devapali, loudly singing the glories of Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. They took rest, and then, as guests of the deity Shri Nrsimhadev, they honored lunch prasad. Devapali is another name of Nrsimhapali. Shri Nrsimhadev's place since Satya Yuga. Devasera Shesha Jame, Sakale Brahmaye Grame, Prabhu Nityananda Tabe Koi, Devapali e hoy, Shri Nrsimha Devalai, Yuga hoite parichay. At the end of the day, they wandered throughout the village. Shri Nityananda Prabhu said, "This is Devapali. The famous temple of Shri Nrsimha Bhagavan has been here ever since Satya Yuga, the resting place of Shri Nrsimha Bhagavan. Prahladere daya kori hiranya badiya hari, e stane korilo vishrama, Brahma adi devagan jan janiketan, kori eka bhoshailo gram." After the Supreme Lord Sri Hari showed mercy upon Prahlad by killing Hiranyakashipu, he rested at this place. Brahma and other demigods built residences for themselves here, and thus a village was founded. Many demigods arrived here to serve Śrī Nrsimhadev. Mandakini. Does Mandakini have a dot under the N? I think so. Isn't there that Sanskrit rule? One second. How do I find this out? In the Hindi dictionary, it doesn't have a dot under it. Mandakini. I'll check later on. Or I'll check now. Sorry, guys. Can't help myself. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Wait. Filter from Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Okay, I was wrong. Mandakini tatadhari tilaya vasate kori nrsinga sevai hoilo rata Śrī Nrsimha kshetra nam Navadvīpa-dhāma Parama Shastra Mata. All these demigods resided on top of hillocks, tilas, on the river of Mandakini's bank, and became absorbed in the service of Lord Śrī Nrsimhadev. According to the verdict of the scriptures, this Śrī Nrsimha Kshetra, which is situated in Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma, is supremely sacred. Suryatila Brahmatila Nrisingha Purabechila Evistana Hoila Viparjaya Viparai Ganesher Tila Hera Indra Tila Tarapara Erupa Bahutila Moy. O Jiva, behold Suryatila and Brahmatila. Previously, Nrsingatila was situated to the east of these tilas, but now this place has changed. Just see Ganesh Tila, and after that, Indra Tila. There are so many hillocks here. Vishwakarma's construction of residences suitable for the demigods. Vishwakarma-Mahārāja Nirmila Prastaramai Koto Shata Devira Vasati Kale Sabala Pahoilo Mandakini Shukailo Tila Matra Achaya Samprati. Vishwakarma-Mahārāja constructed innumerable diamond and pearl-studded residences here that were suitable for the demigods. The buildings have all disappeared over time. Now even the river Mandakini has dried up. Only the hillocks remain. Śrī Nityananda Prabhu's prediction. Śrīla Khanda Aganana Koro Ebe Darashan Shesaba Mandirera Shesha Pona Kichu Dina Pore Eka Bhakta Naravare Pabe Nrisinghera Kripalesh Brihata Mandira Kori Bosaibe Narahari Puna Seva Kori Be Prakasha Navadvipa Parikramā Tar Ekasima Shola Krosha Evas. Just see these innumerable pieces of stone here. They are all ruins of temples. Again, after some time, one devotee will attain a drop of mercy of Śrī Nrsimha Bhagavan and build a huge temple here. He will install Śrī Nrsimhadev here and re-establish worship of him. This place is situated at the border of the 16 kosas, Navadvīpa Parikramā. The author's prayer to attain his desired service. Nitai Janava Pada Jai Janara Sampada Shri Bhaktivinoda Kangal Navadvipa Su Mahima Nahi Tara Kabhu Sima Taha Gai Chari Maya Jal. This wretched beggar Bhaktivinoda, whose only treasure is service to the feet of Śrī Nityananda Prabhu and Śrī Janava Devi, abandons the web of Maya and sings of Śrī Navadvīpa's glories, to which there is no end. Thus ends chapter 7. Okay, guys, tell me what you think. Should I continue? Right now we're halfway through. Should I end here at chapter 7, or should I continue on with chapter 8? It'll probably take half an hour to complete. Let me know. That means that right now it's 8:15 a.m. here, and that means that we'll finish at 8:45 a.m. Let me know in the comments. I'm fine with doing either. Haribol Kishore Prabhu. Yeah, so let me know. Oh, cool. Bipul. It's coming from Navadvīpa-dhāma. Awesome. Okay. Let's read the first few verses and then I'll look at the comments again. Chapter 8, Mangala Charan. Jaya 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 Shri Sachi Sutta, Jaya 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 Shri Avadhuta. All glories to Shri Sachinandan, the son of Mother Shachi. All glories to the Avadhut, Shri Nityananda Prabhu. Sitapati Jaya Bhakata Raj, Gadadhara Jaya Bhakata Samaj. Hey, there's too many syllables here. Gadadhara Jaya Bhakta Samaj. Should be like that. But that might be changing Bhaktivinoda Thakura's words. I'll have to check how it is in the Bengali. All glories to the King of Devotees, Śrī Advaita Acharya, the Lord of Sita. All glories to Śrī Gadadhar Pandit and the Society of Devotees. Jaya Navadvīpa Sundara Dham, Jaya 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 Goraki Nam. All glories to the most beautiful Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma. All glories to the holy name of Shri Gaur. Okay, let me check the comments. Oops. Okay. Rup Manjari can go either way, but don't miss Prasad. I can still take Prasad at 8:45. Okay, Kishore, I'm going to do it. I'm going to read this whole thing. Nitai Sahita Bhakata Gan, Hari Hari Boli Chale Thakon. Shivas Pandit and the other devotees called out, Hari Hari, and proceeded along with Śrī Nityananda Prabhu. Śrī Nityananda Prabhu, completely intoxicated by the wine life of Hari. Bhave dhala dhala nitai chale, preme adha adha vachana bole. As he was talking, Śrī Nityananda Prabhu, being carried away by prem, swayed and stammered as if intoxicated. I like this meter. Jara jara jare ankira jal, gora gora boli hoy bikal. Streams of tears flowed from his eyes, and, overwhelmed with emotion, he called out, Gora, Gora. Jaka maka kore bhushana mala, rupe dasha dika hoilo ala. All of his ornaments glittered, and his transcendental form illuminated the 10 directions. The dance of Shivas Pandit and Shri Jiva. Shivasa nachiche jivera sane, kabu kande kabu nache sane. As Shivas Pandit danced with Shri Jiva, they sometimes wept and sometimes danced with carefree abandon. Arajata saba bhakata gan, nachite nachite chale takon. All the other devotees also danced as they proceeded onward. Alakanandara nikata asi, bolena nitai anande bhasi, bilva paka Gram Pashchime Dhari, Mandakini Ase Nadia Gheri. When they reached the river Alakananda, Śrī Nityananda Prabhu spoke blissfully. O Jiva, the river Mandakini surrounds Nadia, keeping the village Bilvapaksha on her western side. Suvarna Vihara Dekile Jata, Mandakini Chare Alakatata. At Suvarna Vihar, which you saw previously, the river Kini and Alakananda part from each other. Shri Harihar Kshetra. Alakanandara Purava Pare Harihara Kshetra Gandaka Dhare. Harihar Kshetra is situated on Alakananda's east bank, on the bank of the Gandaki, and on the bank of the Gandaki. Interesting. They went to Nrsimhapali before Harihar Kshetra. I have to look at a map. Shri Murti Prakasha Hoibe Kale Sundara Kanana Shobhibhe Bhale. At the right time, a deity will manifest here, and a beautiful grove will adorn this place. The pilgrimage place named Kashi and Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma. Do you want to see a picture of Harihar Kshetra, the deity that Nityananda Prabhu was referring to? All right, Harihar Kshetra Navadvīpa. Here's a picture. See? There. This one looks more clear. There's the temple, and there's Harihar Kshetra. Oh, I actually never noticed this huge footprint there. I wonder. Anyways, that's so interesting. All right. Also, what would be kind of fun to do, maps.google.com, to see the path that Nityananda Prabhu and Jiva Gosvāmī, Pandit, and all of them took. So first they went to, where did they go to first? My God, my mind just went blank. Suvarna Vihar, right? Suvarna Vihar. What the heck? Anyways, I'll check this later on. Let's not. I think this is it. And then what we do, we add another place. Anyways, I'll do this after. When we are. Okay, so the pilgrimage place named Kashi and Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma. Alaka Pashchime Dekoho Kashi Shaiva Shakta Seve Mukati Dasi. Just see Kashi, which is situated on Alakananda's western bank. Shaivites, worshippers and Shaktas, worshippers of Shakti, are trying to attain liberation here. Varanasi hoite e dhama para hetaye durjati pinaka dhara. This Harihar Kshetra is superior to Varanasi, Kashi. Here, Durjati, Shiva with matted hair, reigns splendidly, holding a damuru drum. And I need to make a note here because in the previous place it said Durjati, I think. Check spelling of previous chapter. Okay. Lord Shiva, carrying the damuru drum, dances as he chants the name of Gaur. Gaura Gaura Sadai Nache Nija Jane Gaura Bhakati Jache. Shiva is always dancing here, chanting Gaura Gaur and praying for his followers to obtain Gaura Bhakti. The Bhaktas reproach for liberation. Sahasra Varasha Kashite Bosi Labheshe Mukati Gyanete Nasi Tahato Hetai Charane Theli Nachena Bhakata Gauranga Boli. The liberation obtained by sannyasis after living in Kashi and practicing Gyan, speculative and personal knowledge, for 1,000 years, is here kicked away by the devotees as they dance and chant the name of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. These devotees consider themselves fortunate just to drink the nectar of Śrī Gaura's name. Lord Shiva chants the name of Gaur in the ears of the jivas. Nirjana samaya ekhane jiva, kane Gaura boli tarena Shiva. If any living being leaves his body in this place, in his final moment, Lord Shiva chants the name of Śrī Gaur in his ear and thus liberates him. Mahāvāranasi e dhama hoy, jivera marane nahi ko bhoy. This holy abode is also called Mahāvāranasi because the living entities here need not fear dying, considering that they will definitely attain a transcendental destination upon hearing the pure name of Śrī Gaur emanate from Lord Shiva's mouth. In other words, they need not worry about their destination after death. Eto boli tatai nitai nache, Gaura hari prema jivere jache. Saying this, Śrī Nityananda Prabhu began to dance and prayed that Śrī Ji also obtain prem for Śrī Gaur Hari. Lord Shiva offers his respects at Śrī Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet. Alakhetakon kailashapati nitai charane korilo nati. Unseen by anyone, Lord Shiva, the master of Kailas, respectfully bowed at Śrī Nityananda Prabhu's divine feet. Kailash or Kailas? See here it's Kailash and there it's Kailas. Let me see. Okay, it looks like it has two spellings. Right? I'm guessing it has two spellings. I don't know what to do here. Anyways, I'll just highlight. Gaura saha Shiva Gauranganam Gaya Gaya Purayakam. Did I read this? Unseen by anyone, Lord Shiva, the master of Kailas, respectfully bowed at Śrī Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet. Lord Shiva resides here with Gauri, Śrī Parvati, constantly chanting Śrī Gauranga Mahaprabhu's names and thus fulfilling all of his desires. Now we come to Gadi Gacha Gram, Śrī Godrumadvīpa. Our Parikramā does it the opposite direction. Satantra Ishvara Nitai Tabe Bhakata Sangete Chalilo Jabe Gadi Gacha Grame Ponchilo Asi Tatai Asiya Kohilo Hasi Godruma Namete Edipa Hoy Surabhi Tata Ekhaniroy. I think I know why. It's because Nityananda, they're doing a Parikramā, so they're walking all the way around Navadvīpa-dhāma. And we start at our mat, go around and come back. So that's why it's... And, one second. Just before I forget to do this. I am going to highlight that to check later on. Okay. I read this all right. Satantra Ishvara Nitai Tabe Bhakata Sangate Chalilo Jabe Gadi Gacha Grame Ponchila Asi Tatai Asila Kohilo Hasi Godrama Namete Edipa Hoy Surabhi Satata Ekhane Roy. The independent Lord, Śrī Nityananda Prabhu, walked with the devotees and arrived at the village of Cha. Laughing, he said, "The name of this sacred island is Godrum. Surabhi resides here eternally." During the time of Shri Krishna Lila, Indra, filled with pride, sent rains on Gokul. Krishna Maya Vashe Devindra Jabe Bhasai Gokula Nija Gaurave Govardhanat Giri Dhoriya Hari Rakhilo Gokula Jatana Kori. Being subjected to Shri Krishna's Maya, the proud Indra showered Gokul with torrents of rain. At that time, Shri Hari lifted Giriraj Govardhan and carefully protected Gokul. the crushing of Indra's pride. Indra darpa churna hoile para Shachipati chine saranga dhara. When Indra's pride was completely, he recognized Sarangadhara, Shri Krishna. That means that's a name of Krishna. It's a form of Vishnu carrying the bow named Saranga. Indra takes shelter of Shri Krishna's lotus feet. Porilo Krishnera charana Nija aparada marjana tare. Porilo Krishnera charana dhare. To rectify his offense, Indra fell to the ground and caught hold of Shri Krishna's lotus feet. Indra's fear and prayers to Mother Surabhi. Dayara samudra nandatanai, kamilo indrere dilo abhay, tatapi indrera rahilo bhoy, Surabhi nikate tokono koi, Krishna lila mui bhujite nari, aparadha mama hoilo bhari. Although Shri Nandanandan, Ocean of Mercy, forgave and pacified Indra, the fear in Indra's heart did not diminish. Indra said to Surabhi, "Because of not understanding Shri Krishna's pastimes, I have committed a dreadful offense. Shuniche kalite brajendra sutta, koribe nadiya arbhuta." I have heard that in Kali Yuga, Shri Brajendra Nandan will perform his astonishing pastimes in Navadvīpa. Even upon attaining the post of Indra, there is no reason to fear. Pache se samaya mohita habe, aparadi puna hoye rahibo. Rahibo? Okay. Wow, it doesn't rhyme. But I fear that at that time, I will again be bewildered by the illusory energy, by Maya, and commit offenses. Tumi to surbi sakala jano, koroho ekhon tahar vidhana, koroho ekhon tahar vidhana. Okay. O Surabhi, Kamadenu, you know everything about how to be saved from committing offenses. Please now explain this to me. Mother Surabhi's advice. Surabhi bolilo chalo ho jai, Navadvīpa-dhāma bhajini mai. Surabhi answered, "Let us both go to Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma and there worship Nimai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." Why does it say Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? I think it should say Gauranga, Shri Gauranga or something. I'll check the Hindi, but I'm going to make it Shri Gauranga right now. And I have it highlighted. Shri Gaur Hari, that's better. The birthplace, the place of bhajan of Indra and Mother Surabhi. You know what? I'm going to just do the proper thing and make this the same formatting. There. The place of bhajan of Indra and Mother Surabhi. Devindra Surabhi hetai asi, Gauranga bhajana korila bosi. Shri Nityananda Prabhu continued. Thereafter, oh wait, I got a message. Okay. Shri Nityananda Prabhu continued. Thereafter, Indra and Surabhi worshipped Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu at this very place. Gauranga bhajana sahaja ati, sahaja tahara phala vitati. It is very easy to worship Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Although the results is also easy to attain, it is the topmost. Indra and Mother Surabhi attained darshan of Shri Gaur Hari. Gauranga boliya krandana kore, Gauranga darshana hoya satvare. Both of them constantly chanted Gauranga's name and wept. Quickly they attained darshan of Śrī Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Kiva aparupa rupa lavani dekhilo Gauranga Pratima-khaṇḍa. I think it should be like that, but I don't know. I'm gonna highlight it later. They had darshan of Śrī Gauranga Mahaprabhu's astonishingly graceful divine form. The supremely munificent Śrīmad Mahaprabhu bestows a boon. Ada ada hasi varada rupa preme gada gada rasera kupa. Śrīmad Mahaprabhu was smiling gently, having assumed the posture of one giving a boon. Mahaprabhu, who is the storehouse of ras, was himself overwhelmed with ecstatic love, prem. Hasiya bolena Ṭhākura mor, janinu vasana ami totor. My Lord Śrī Gaurahari smiled and said to Indra and Surabhi, I know your desire. Alpadina ache prakatakal, nadiya nagare dibe bhalo, Śrīla samaye sevibe more, Maya jala ar na dhore tore. I will soon appear in Navadvīpa. At that time, you will also take birth in Navadvīpa and serve me in my pastimes there. Now the snares of illusion will not be able to touch you. Mother Surabhi resides permanently in Godrum. Eto boli Prabhu adrisha hoy, Surabhi sundari tatai roy, Ashvata nikate rohila devi, Nirantara gora charana sevi. I think there should be a comma here. I'll check that later. Saying this, Mahaprabhu vanished, and Śrī Surabhi Devi began living a peepal tree. She began living underneath a peepal tree, continuously serving Śrī Gaur Hari's divine feet. The reason for the name Godrumadvīpa. Godrumadvīpa to hoilo nam, hetai purai bhakatakam. Since then, this island is called Godrum. All the desires of the devotees are fulfilled here. And why is it called Godrum? Go means cow and Druma means tree. The island where a cow resides beneath a tree. Surabhi Devi. And one thing you notice here, how there's double quotation marks before each thing, because Nityananda was talking, it wasn't like that in the previous chapter. So that's something I'm going to have to look throughout the book and make sure we do something consistent. Okay, so this Mahaprabhu vanished, and Śrī Surabhi Devi began living underneath a peepal tree, continuously serving Śrī Gaur Hari's lotus feet. Sorry, guys. The reason for the name Śrī Godrumadvīpa, I already read that. Godrumadvīpa to hoilo nam, hetai puraya bhakatakam. Since then, this island is called Godruma, and the desires of the devotees are fulfilled here. Sorry, guys. Hetaya kutira bandiya bhaje, anayase gora charane maje. If someone makes a hut here and performs bhajan, he will easily become engrossed in service to Śrī Gaur Hari's lotus feet. Tridandi Maharaj has a little place there. The story of Markandeya Rishi. The story of Markandeya Rishi's coincidental arrival in Godrumadvīpa. E dipe kabo mrikanda sutta, pralaye achila kata arbu. Once Markandeya Rishi, the son of Mrikanda, came to this island at the time of universal devastation. His story is truly wonderful. Although Markandeya Rishi had received the benediction to have a lifetime as long as 7 kalpas, or days of Lord Brahma, he had to face a sorrowful situation at the time of devastation. Sata kalpa ayu pailo muni pralay baray viparagani jala maya hoilo samasta stan kotava rohibe kore sandhan. Although the sage had received a lifespan of 7 kalpas, he had to face great danger at the time of devastation because every place became inundated with water. The sage began searching for somewhere to stay. Markandeya Rishi's lamentation. Bhasiya bhasiya chaliyai keno heno vara loinu hoy. As he was carried away by the water, he thought, "Alas, alas, why did I ask for such a boon?" Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma is not covered by water even during the devastation. Shola krosha matra nadiya dham jagiya bhakate devishram. Only Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma, extending 16 kosas, remains to give shelter to the devotees, while all other places became inundated with water. Dalera tarange bhasiya muni agyana hoya pade amani. Tossed about in the waters, the sage became unconscious upon reaching Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma. Mother Surabhi's mercy upon Markandeya Rishi. Mahakripa kore sutai jatane munire heta utai. Surabhi saw the sage floating in the water. Out of mercy, she carefully lifted him out of the water. Markandeya Rishi attains the darshan of Śrī Godrumadvīpa. Samvita labhiya mrikanda sutta dekhilo Godrumadvīpa arbhuta. Upon regaining consciousness, Markandeya Rishi beheld the amazing Godrumadvīpa. Shata koti krosha vistara stan nada nadi shobha prakashaman. He said that it extended for 2 billion miles and that it was beautified by countless flowing rivers and waterfalls. 2 billion miles, my God. Tarulata koto shobhai tata pakshigana gaishi gora gatha. A variety of lush green trees and creepers adorned this place, and the birds sang the glories of Śrī Gaura Hari. This is a transcendental Navadvīpa-dhāma. Okay, before we have people with no A at the end, now we have it with an A at the end. And I think we should have it with an A at the end. So, let me just find people. All right. He saw okay. Okay. A variety of lush green trees and creepers adorn this place, and the birds sing the glory. He saw a peepal tree that extended over 1 yojana, 8 miles, under which Mother Surabhi was sitting. Wow, an 8-mile tree. A lifespan of 7 kalpas is not at all significant. Markandeya Rishi, afflicted by hunger, prays to Mother Surabhi. Kshudaya akula muni thokon surabhira prati bole vachan tumi bhagavati rako ho pran dugda diya more koro ho tran. The sage, afflicted by hunger, said to Mother Surabhi, "O Bhagavati, please save my life. Please remove my distress by feeding me with your milk." Mother Surabhi gives her milk. Surabhi tokon sadaya hoye piyai lo dugda munire loye. The compassionate Surabhi gave her milk to the sage to drink. Markandeya Muni's repentance. Sabala hoya mrikanda shunu surabhira prati kahoy puna tumi bhagavati janani mor tomara mayai jagata bhor. Having regained his strength, the son of Mrikanda again spoke to Surabhi. "You are Bhagavati. You are my mother. Your illusory energy is spread throughout the entire universe. Na bhujiya amiloye chivara sapta kalpa jiva hoy amar. Without thinking properly, I asked for a boon to remain alive for 7 kalpas. Pralaya samay barai duk. There should be an H here. Nana vida klesha nahi koduk. But, O mother, the time of devastation is fraught with much distress and trouble, and therefore completely devoid of happiness. Ki kori janani bolo go more, kishe bajaibo edukatare. I should check these, but that's not how you spell dukkha without a. O mother, what shall I do? Please be merciful and tell me how I can be freed from this unhappiness. Mother Surabhi instructs Markandeya Rishi. Surabhi tokon bolilo bani bajaho gora pada dukhani. After hearing his words, Mother Surabhi answered, Stay here and worship Shri Gaur Hari's lotus feet. The glories of Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma. E Navadvīpa prakriti para kabhu nasha nahi hoya ihara. This Navadvip is beyond material nature and is therefore never destroyed. Charma choke iha sodasha krosha parama vaikunta sada nirdosha. Although the material eyes perceive it as extending for 16 kosas, the supreme realm of Vaikuntha is eternal and completely faultless. Aprakrita desha kala ekhane jada maya keba keho na jane. Here, space and time are always above material existence, and no one here knows anything about the material illusory energy. Navadvipe dekho apurva charidike bede virajasati. Please behold this wonderful Navadvip Dham. It is surrounded on all sides by the virtuous river Viraja, which separates the material from the spiritual world. Shatakoti krosha prateka khanda madhe maya pura nagara ganda. Each part of this dham measures 2 billion miles, and its center is the grand town of Mayapur. Ashtadala ashtadipe raman antardipata kesharastan. The 8 islands of this dham are likened to the 8 petals of a lotus flower. Antardip is in the middle and is like the stamen. The residence of all holy places, demigods, and sages. Sarva tirtha sarva de gauranga bhajiche hetai bosi. All holy places, demigods, and sages reside here worshipping Shri Gauranga. The request to take shelter of Shri Gaur Hari. Tumi to markandeya gauranga pada Ashraya koroho jani sampada. Also should take shelter of Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, knowing them to be the only true wealth. The instruction to take shelter of the spotlessly pure bhakti dharma. Akaitava dharma ashraya koro bhukti mukti vancha sudure dharo. Completely give up the desires for sense enjoyment, bhukti, liberation, mukti, etc., shelter of pure bhakti dharma, the result of worshipping Shri Gaur Hari. Gauranga bhajana ashraya bole madhura prema to lobhi befale. By worshipping Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, you will quickly attain the fruit of Madhur Prem, the sadhak's condition upon attaining Prem. Se prema jabe hridaya boshe, bhashaye vilasa kalara rase, brajerada pada ashraya hoy, jugala sevai manasaroy. When prema appears in someone's heart, it drowns him in the nectar of Shri Krishna's various loving pastimes. He will attain the shelter of Shri Radha's lotus feet in Vraj, and his heart will always be immersed in service to the divine couple. Incomparable happiness attained only through service. Sevara sukha atula jano, abheda nirvane aparta jnana. You should clearly understand one thing. By serving the Lord, one can attain incomparable happiness. In impersonal liberation, the happiness is only insignificant and imaginary. Shri Markandeya Rishi's inquiry. Surabhi vachana shuni amuni, kara jara kori bole amani, shigora charana bhaji bojabe, amara adrishta kothai robe. After hearing Surabhi's words, Markandeya Muni folded his hand and asked, if I serve Shri Gaur Hari's divine feet, what will happen to the ripe, the prarabdha, and unripe, aprarabdha results of my fruitive activities? Fructified and unfructified, is that better? Anyways, I think fructified and unfructified makes more sense. Mother Surabhi's answer. Surabhi kohilo siddhanta sar, Shri Gaura bhajane nahi vichar. After hearing this question, Mother Surabhi explains the essence of the established philosophical truths, Siddhanta. There is no consideration of rules and regulations in the worship of Shri Gaur. Shri Gaura boliya daki bejabe, samasta karama vinasha habe, kichu nahi robe vipaka ar, ghuchibe tomara bhava sansar. When you call out the name of Shri Gaur Hari, all of your karma is destroyed. You will not experience difficulties anymore, and your disease of material existence, repeated birth and death, will be removed for good. Karma kene eka gyane rafal, guchi be samule hoye vikal. Not only is karma destroyed, the result of mental speculation, gyan, is cut at the root. Tomi to mojibe gauranga rase, bhajibe tahare edvipe bose. You'll be immersed in the loving mellows of Shri Gauranga. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You'll be immersed in the loving mellows of Gauranga by staying on this island and worshipping Shri Gaur Hari. Markandeya shuni anande hase, Gaura boli kande kokono hase. Hare Krishna.
This belongs to Prabhuji. He's staying there, man.
Who?
Russian, what is his name?
Oh, Sundar. Oh yeah, you can keep here.
How are you, Prabhuji?
Good, I'm doing class now. No, don't. Hare Krishna. You will be immersed in the loving mellows of Shri Gauranga by staying on this island and worshipping Shri Gaur Hari. Markandeya shuni ananda hase, Gaura boli kande kokono hase. Markandeya Muni smiled blissfully upon hearing Mother Surabhi's words and called out, Gaur, Gaur. Sometimes he cried and sometimes he laughed. E dekho jiva apurvastan, Markandeya jata pailo pran. Shri Nityananda Prabhu said, O Jiva, just behold this unprecedented place where Markandeya Rishi regained his life. At the last 3 verses. Gauranga mahima nitaye mukhe, shuni jiva bhase parama sukhe. Shri Jiva was inundated with supreme bliss when he heard the glories of Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu emanating from the mouth of Shri Nityananda Prabhu. Se stane she dina japana kori, Madhyadvipe chale boliya Hari. That day they took rest at that place and started towards Madhyadvip the next morning, chanting the name of Lord Hari. The author's prayer for obtaining service. Nitai janava charanasar, janiya bhakti vinodachar, nitaya desha mastake dhore, nadiya mahima varnana kore. Knowing that service to Śrī Nityananda Prabhu's and Śrī Janavadevi's lotus feet is the essence of life, and holding the order of Śrī Nityananda Prabhu on his head, this insignificant and lowly Bhaktivinoda is describing the magnificence of Nadia. Thus ends chapter 8. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Shri Radha Vinod Bihaju Ki Jai. Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Srila Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Swaparshad Shri Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma Ki Jai, Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma-māhātmya Ki Jai, Shri Godruma Dvip Ki Jai, Shri Harihar Kshetra Ki Jai, Shri Suvarna Vihar Ki Jai, Shri Nashringapali Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sananta Koti Vaishnavana Ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. How do you add a location here? It's not giving me the option. Whatever. Oh, I think I know. Shri Suvarna and then Nrisimhapali. Add destination. Okay, so here is the way that they went. Then let's see. What do you call it? Anyways, all right. Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma-māhātmya Ki Jai, Śrīla Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura Ki Jai, Shri Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Sorry guys. Alright, done. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhyaya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams everybody. In this book also there's drawings all throughout. Like here's a drawing of Harihar Kshetra. Anyways. Oh, so we're more than halfway through now. Look, this is where we are in the book. See? A little bit more than halfway through. Yes, Rup Manjari Didi. I think it should be consistent in the book, and so that's why I'm gonna, so I should probably just put a Shah there. Yeah. Are there lots of cows in Godrumadvip? Not really, no. I mean, not that I've noticed. Yeah. All right, Dandavat pranams, everybody. See you all tomorrow. That was the longest reading we're ever going to do. We're never going to do it that long again. So yeah, that was just a unique thing. All the other readings will be more normal. All right, Dandavat pranams, everybody. All right, Hare Krishna. Thank you.